Hello darklings, my name is Sanniz, I'm a Swedish Eldergoth. Today is gonna be a do-it-yourself video because I'm a bit tired after yesterday. Yesterday was World Goth Day when I do this, and what should we do? We're gonna do a little miniature hat, and this one I used during the World Goth Day stream at Starhaven Gothic Eternity's channel when we did this Victorian Goth gathering, and yeah, I'm gonna show you how to do something similar. But first we take the intro and see you soon.
A Swedish Eldergoth, not just stuck in one box.
Hello ducklings, like I said, we're gonna do it yourself. And what we're gonna start with that is actually do something like this. And this one have this solution to attach it to your hair, so use some hair clips. On the one I used during the World Goth Day, I had lace ribbons, but that can be a little harder because you need to tie it around, and depending on how you use it, it can be a little struggle to do it. Of course, you're gonna need a lot of things. The most important tool in the beginning is this, and you're gonna need plenty of these too, just in case, because you're gonna need a lot of stuff. You're gonna need at least 2 different scissors, one very sharp. I should recommend some elastic fabrics, and here I use like this faked velvet, and as you can see, you can stretch it. And of course, I want to have a base for the top hat bits, and that you're gonna decide yourself how high you want. And I use it on a kitchen roll thing that you see I already used a lot. And then you're gonna have some stiffer paper that you do like a circle. You're gonna do it smaller because it's gonna fit in this one, but you don't have to do it right now, but you can just do the circle around it. And of course, you're gonna need a lot of other stuff. You're gonna need some type of wire when you do this bit, and you're gonna also need to use some textile glue, and I use this one. And look, that is actually transparent too. You don't want to use a white one because they can bleed through everything, or if you do some boo-boo when you attach things. And for some type of things I even have this B7000 or whatever it's called. I'm gonna show it anyway when I put other stuff in place with what I'm gonna attach. You can use different kind of pendants or whatever. I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna use for this one. And of course, don't forget to put that on, and be careful when you use it. It can go very hot. Some of those hot guns can actually, glue guns can be very hot. Mine is not that bad, but at least you know that it can be hot. So don't just leave it anyway. So, of course, you might need different type of tools too, of course, but you're gonna notice what you're gonna need. So, should we start? What do you think? So, like I said, we start with the kitchen roll part, and it's up to you how much you want, but remember, if you have a pendant, you want to get room enough for it. So just eyeball something. I want to show that just dare do something. You don't always think about how that is going to be perfect. I want to do it as simple as possible, so I cut off. What you can do after that is check that it's not too, so at least it's some type of similar height all across, so it's not going to be too high on one end, because you want to have a little good, but it don't have to be perfect. So just do this type of smoothing it out and check, and it don't have to be much better than this, and this side is okayish too. And of course, then we have this one, and you can see it's way too big. So you can put that down on the paper, and you can take a pen. I'm going to see if I can find the right one, and then do a circle around, and check that the paper is a little harder, because you want to have a little more stable paper. And this you cut off, of course, so it's gonna fit very good inside this one or on top. You're gonna know what I mean when you see it, so you don't have to be worried. And I think this is really fun too. like I said, you don't have to do it too perfect. And this was the bit they're gonna use. What you want it to get room either just above. If it's a little too big, it doesn't matter. It can actually be a little better to do it a little bigger, because you can always adjust the size after. And then you have to, of course, wait for the glue gun. I'm not sure if this one is hot enough yet, so we might have to wait a little. So I'm gonna pause this, the glue is ready. Now I see that the glue starts to be okay, so I lift off this lid and I try. You don't have to glue all because it can be cooling down way too fast. So do some edges, maybe maximum half of it. See that you have pretty much of glue on top, as you see here, and try to get it on. Then you take this one and try to press it so it's not coming directly outside. I'm gonna see if it passes. Sometimes it can be a little tough to get it on, but it's just to make it to stay in place. So you don't have to be worried if it's not perfect from start. Just play and try to do something and press it down. And like I said, be a little careful. And if it starts being threads, it's just take them away. And you do this till you have the paper is attached. It might be that you have to go over even a bit to start it. Oops, I pushed too hard. That's things that can happen sometimes. But don't worry, and don't be angry about my nails. They look rubbish right now, so now I have to do new glue. In worst case, you can always take away the glue that was not good and start all over again. It's just to attach this thing, and it's gonna take a little while too before it's enough in stiffness. And if you have some bigger bits are sticking out, you can use the scissor to trim it after. So it's the same with the paper that's sticking out too much. So it's just so it's gonna stay in place till we're gonna do this thing. And here I think it's a little too much, it's too bumpy, so I'll take off some bits and see if I can adjust it, because that was a little clumsy. You see, it's just taking it off and then you try again, because we don't want to have like a big bump there either. So just press it and let it dry a little bit, and then you see, just take off the threads. You don't have to worry about them, it's not that bad. And like I said, you can trim it after. And if you see here, the edges is not perfect, so I'm not gonna go over and try to adjust them a little more after the paper roll, and hope the glue is cooling down enough so it sits in place. It might be that I need to glue a little more. No, it was stuck. I felt like it. That bit is not glued, so I can see if I can get some glue inside here too, just to secure it a little more. That means that I have to wait a little more too. But we are not in a hurry, are we? This is a progress thing, so. And then you have to see that the paper is sticking. That is just to do the base for this top hat, the miniature ones. And I want to do it as easy as possible, because many have like pattern they use, and they can be very complicated and might frighten some people to even dare to try. So I want to show that you don't have to do it perfect. It can still be a really good result. So now you can see it's stuck in place enough. And what I'm gonna start with is just check how much fabric I need for the top bit, the circle, and cut something that is like squarish, that's a bit bigger than that. Don't be afraid to do it a little bigger, because I'm gonna show you why. And that's why we need enough fabric. And I need my coffee. And as you see, I did the fabric a bit bigger, so you see it goes over. And now we take the glue gun again, and you don't have to glue all, you just start with one part, or you do everything, but then you need to hurry up before it goes colder, because then it can be a little hard to put it on. But try to have it smooth, and then you put the bigger part of the fabric over, and then you try to flatten in it. And then we're gonna need to wait a little, and now we're gonna soon understand what I'm after. So this is how it looks like so far. And if you have threads from the glue, it doesn't matter. And now we see we have a lot of excess here, but now we're gonna start cutting. But we're not gonna cut all the way. We're gonna leave some bits outside, So we're just cutting out a bit, and it don't have to be perfect. Remember what I said, it's better to just try than not doing at all. And it's more fun to actually do your own stuff too. And as fast as you realize it don't have to be that much effort to do it. So you cut it off. And depending on how picky you are, you can do it more perfect. But like I said, I want to do it in a way so people dare try. So you can see now that it's actually sticking out a bit from this top. And what we're gonna do now is to cut in a lot of those things so it goes into the paper itself. And that is because we want to glue it down. And it's easier to glue it down without having too much wrinkles or whatever I should say. Because it can be a little harder to get everything looking nice. And that is even when you sew together fabric, sometimes when you have like a curve, you want it to look more better. So then you do those type of cuttings too. And I'm not sure my scissor is cutting that well. Maybe I should have done it a little better before. Or this scissors start to be a little crappy too. I don't know. But yeah. Then we done that. Then it's time to glue down the edges, and I just do one little part at a time, and that is because the glue is drying, and I've tried to flatten the glue. You see, don't be afraid for those glue things. And then you go the whole way around. Just do a little bit at a time, so you know that you have time. And this is when stretch fabric actually is the best, because you're not gonna have the same problem as you have with ordinary fabric that is a little bit stiff. It's a little harder to get it to look nice then. And that means that it's easier to actually get it as flat as possible. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but we're not after a perfect. And some things, it's not going to be that visible anyway in the end result. And you see, I got glue on my thumb and it's a bit hot. That's why I said be careful, especially some type of guns are very hot. Mine is not the hottest type, so that's why I can take on it a little faster. But if you have children and they see something like this, so that's important that you have that in mind, that glue can be hot and you can burn yourself very hard on it. So that's why I said it's better to be more safe in that way, so they do what we do, or maybe even worse, because they maybe don't understand the consequences. At least the grown-up know that it can end badly. And then I let it dry a little bit. If you got glue threads on top, it doesn't matter, it's just taking them away. And yeah, just wait for it to dry or get cold, then you can take it away. And then we got the top bit done, and it should look like something like this. So you see, you don't have to do it perfect, it's just to create a base. And we can put the glue gun with it. I'm still gonna have it on warm because I need to have it. And now the fun part starts. We're gonna see how much we're gonna need, because now we're gonna do this roundish, and you're gonna need to have a straight edge, and I usually go there and see that I have that. You want to have it a little wider than this length and cut right over. So I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna see first how much I needed, and it's better to cut a little too much than too little, and you're gonna know why after. But because the roll is not that long, so you can always check how much do I need, and I see, okay, I don't have to do longer than that bit, so then I can go up here, and this don't have to be perfect now either. So you see, I got like a squarish type. I can make it more proper too if I feel that it didn't look that straight, so I can adjust it a little more. But like I said, you don't have to do it perfect either, just make it look okay-ish. We are here for having fun, we're here to dare do something. It's better to try than not doing at all. And here I have some edge that I want to take off because it's not looking good, even if you might not see it, so I feel it's better to take it off. So if I forgot which side I start with, so I don't have that on show or whatever you should call it. So I think it's a bit ready now. And then I have like a bit. And then you have to decide where you're gonna start, because you're gonna need to put some glue on. And then you need to work a little faster. And the edge that is most straight, so I want to have the top hat away, because I want to have more excess of the fabric in one direction. So if you see it goes over this one, I'm gonna tell why. But I want to have this edge very close to the top. So I start to do it, and I'm gonna put in this one because it's in the way, and I need more glue. You see how much glue you're gonna have spare ones ready. Then I do just the line to be able to attach the fabric I have now. And see that you put the edge very close to the top. And if you do it nicely with this type of fabric, so that means that you're gonna save some work in the end. And press. And now we're gonna do this, continue all the way around. Just take a little bit of time. That's because the glue is gonna cool and you don't want to have too much bumps. And you still have some thing to use the stretching for. So you do this, just press and continue. And you do that till you come to the end. So I'm gonna do as much as possible now. I hope you don't mind that that's talking whilst I'm doing my creation. And even if it should be some of the fabric sticking out, so it doesn't matter, you can sometimes go a little careful over with the scissor after, so don't worry about that bit. And like I said, continue and put enough glue. Oops, clumsy me. And that's why I said that you need to be careful, so you don't do some bubbles. And I usually press it as long as it's warm, so it's easier to get it a little more, so it looks a little more controlled too. And continue. We're gonna see if we have done it good enough so we don't have to trim too much. And see that it goes close. Press it all the way out. And you can feel how hot the glue is. And now I'm gonna first see that this other end is more glue to the bottom too, because I'm not gonna do that much there. I'm gonna do like an overlapping, if you know what I mean. And where the seam goes, that's actually gonna be the back side of the top hat, if you wonder. So we continue. Pull a bit because it's stretchy. That's why I wanted to have a stretchy thing too, because that's much easier to control. And this is also a reason why we want to have a glue that is transparent too, because if it should be little that bleeding through, so it's not gonna show up that easy either. So, and just continue to all, you got every edge glued down. And I have a tiny bit left here that I need to have some glue for. I'm gonna see how much more I'm gonna need. So now I'm gonna wait a little before I do anything, because we don't want to get the glue on the wrong side too much, because we want to have as nice looking as possible. And now you can also check how the top looks. Sometimes you might have to trim a bit, but and as you can see, I have a little bit here, so I can carefully go in and try to just cut a bit. Don't cut too much, you cut so you show what's under. Just enough so it goes smoothly. You can put on an edge band too if you feel for it. And when the glue is cooled enough, you can take away all the threads that comes up. And this is gonna be the back side. And if you wanted to have it perfect, you could have done. Or sometimes you can put some decoration too that hides. But now you see we have a little more excess here. It gone way more over. Now we're just gonna do a little more straight edge on it, so it's a little easy to work with. You don't have to do it, it's not that, but you still need to have so it's longer than the roll itself. And after that we're gonna do the same. We're gonna do those cut in, because we're gonna glue in this part. And this time it's a little easier because you can use the scissors to go against the paper roll. And when you go the whole way around, so if you see what I mean, it goes like this. See? And those we're gonna glue in the same way like we did before. So we'd start with that. Work one section at a time because it's easy to get it nice done. You can do maximum of maybe 2, but then you need to go down so you can stretch the fabric in, and be careful so you don't burn yourself. It's better to not you see it? I need more glue. You see how much glue it goes. You can't really tell that you really do need that much glue, but you're gonna go more glue than you expected. And yeah, I need to press it because it didn't go down there. So, and down it goes. And now I have glue and everything. I wait a little minute because I have those threads again. Those annoying glue threads. But yeah, what you should have after. Let's see if I got away all the threads that are now is everywhere because they end up. It's just cleaning it off. It's not stuck that type of way, and it's easy to take off too. So I think it looks okay-ish. And like I said, the result don't have to be perfect. Just to make it so you don't do anything. Now we put that little away. Still keep it on heat. But the cylinder should look something like this. So here you got the top and here is the back, and like you see that we have glued it in. And it don't have to be perfect, like I said. And the threads, just take them away. And what are we gonna do now? We're gonna need to do the bottom part. And to make it work like I want it to work, I'm gonna need to have some wire. And now we're gonna decide how much we're gonna need. And you have your references how big this is, but I want to have at least enough for doing more than one, because I want to have it a little more stable. And now my thread is a little untangled here. That is things that happen when you create. It likes to be like that. So now we're gonna, you can straighten it, it's just pulling the thread this way. And now you can take a look again and see how much you need, and you decide how much big outside you want to have. And it's also depending on the decorations you're gonna use. You want to have enough for it, so you just try it around and do as much as you think you're gonna need. So I'm gonna go a little more, so I'm gonna have, and now we're gonna cut it off. I think that should be enough. I'm gonna pause a little bit before I show next moment. So now I've done like 3 rows, but I'm not gonna keep it because I want to secure it a little bit. So I would usually do like some twist on the ends, but also in a way so hopefully I'm not gonna be stuck on it. You can always see that. And then I try to even twist it a little bit so it goes together. Of course you could do some version when you do with a thread too before, and of course it's going up, but that don't matter. We can also do like this thing too, that helps too. It's just to make it a little more stable in that type of way. You don't have to overwork it too much really. And if you got some edges sticking out too much in the end, so it's just to cut it off, because we don't want to risk that getting a sharp end somewhere. This is more that like just making it to be a certain way, so you can take this end to twist it around. And don't be worried, we're gonna reshape it after, so if it looks a little out of the way, so like I said, it doesn't matter. And if you got, like I said, the sharp end, just cut it off. And then you have something like this, and like I said, you're gonna bend it, and when you got a hat, you're gonna know that what I'm after anyway. And it don't have to be perfect roundish either. You can do it little like a egg shape too if you prefer that. Just see that your hat's still gonna be inside. I want to have it almost as round as possible. I'm not doing it perfect. It's not meant to be perfect all the time. And here you take a bit of the fabric. You can cut off a bit, that's enough. You just see that how much you're gonna cover. So you do like you did before with the other part. If you cut a little more than you need, it's better to have a little too much. And I need some coffee. So you have, and then you put this ring above, and you see that it's bigger. And now you can shape it to a little more. If you want to have a little more roundish, press it down a little bit. And that's the good with this type of wire, so you can actually work a little with it. I want to have it a little movable too. And now you start to do the gluing again. And I glue on the inside, but towards the metal. And try to press it a bit. And this is to get contact with the fabric. I do that all the way, and I wait a little till it's dry or cooling down. And then I rotate it. And this is to get the ring to stay in place. But you don't want to have it so it goes over, just beside. I'm gonna show when I had done a whole circle what I mean. And of course, have glue ready, because it's gonna go much more glue than you think. And that's the thing with the glue guns, you never know how much glue you have to do. It goes over more than you think. And now we're just waiting for it to cool down a bit. And like I said, you don't have to be worried for all the threads, because we're just taking them off when it's cooled down anyway. So you see it's still not cooling down enough, so we're gonna wait a little bit, but it should look something like this. So we attach the ring, and now we just wait for it to just dry a little bit. Cool down, and then we're gonna do something similar like we did with other things. I'm gonna cut a bit outside. You don't have to do it perfect, because it's like I said before, it's better to dare try to do something than don't do at all. And this is the thing with being a goth, we do a lot of do-it-yourself, at least we used to do it. Nowadays people are a bit spoiled, you can get a lot of things already ready-made. Of course there are people that think that they can't do it, but I think everyone can do something. It don't have to be perfect the first times. It's gonna look much better for every time you try it. And when you're finished, it's gonna look something like this. And now we're gonna do those flicks close to the edge too, so we can make it go in a little better. It's a little harder to do that compared with the cardboard, but it's just to help the curve, follow the curve, so it looks a little more neater in the end. And that's what you do when you do sewing patterns too. With some curves you need to do those cutting in too, to get the fabric to do a more perfect curve. And if you have glue that goes outside on some places, like you see here, you got a blob, you can use the scissor to take away that bit too. So you don't really have to have that much. And then continue the whole way around. So that should be enough. So you have those things. And now we do the same procedure like you did with the hat. You make them go in. So you do a little by time, and then I need to take this bit in because that's annoying in the way. And I take it in, press it a bit, and see that I don't got glue on my fingers too much, because that it can be that it's been stuck on some other bits. Put it in, press, take it in, and like I said, do 1 or 2 at a time, because else the glue gonna be too cool, so it's not gonna be stuck. And here is reason you can burn your fingers. I got glue on my fingers again, but I know that my glue gun is not the hottest sort, so I'm not that worried if I got a little glue on it. It still burns a little, but it's not that I'm gonna get any wounds or something of it. It's just that I don't want to have a lot of glue be stuck in the fabrics. That you can still probably get off the most of it if you scrape a little carefully. And you go around all the bits till you have covered the most roundish. So you got all the edges covered. And I try to not get too much glue on my fingers, but sometimes I get more glue on my fingers than I was hoping for. And then I press down all the edges. You don't have to drag it 100% hard down, it's just to get it down. And this is where you also, depending on how good you get the edges, this is how, if you're gonna need to do something more about it, because some are not that picky that they think that, oh, that edge is okayish anyway, so it doesn't matter if something is sticking down, I can live with it. And some are much more picky. On this side you don't have to be worried, the other side take away the threads. It's all this glue rest from those spider threads or whatever you should call them. But it's nothing worse. And here is when it's gonna go different depending on which solution you're gonna do with a hat. If you're gonna use this type of things, or if you're gonna do like I had, and see that everything is stuck in this one. Those, because then you need to do on the other part before you glue it together, do those holes for the ribs. But I'm gonna do like I did on this one. I'm gonna glue short bits here so I can put actually this thing, because it's a little easier to attach it, especially if you have different type of hairstyles too. So just take away the glue things, because we have the cover over everywhere. And now we're gonna try to do some more of the fabric that's gonna cover up on top. And you can always go do a little thing just around this and see how much you're gonna need. You can use a pen too, if you have some type of marker too. I'm gonna see if I can find something that works. I'm gonna pause and see if I can find something. I'll find a white pen. So I'm gonna drive some help lines. It don't have to be perfect here either. It's just that I want to see how much fabric I at least gonna need. And this one is not gonna go like the other one. It's not gonna be folded. So I just do like an outlining little to know how much I'm gonna cut it off. And hope that it's gonna be visible. Sometimes it's a little hard to get a marker to show, but you got at least some little, and then you cut out that bit. So just follow a little careful, but don't have to be perfect, just follow. Because I'm gonna show what we're gonna do after, because we're gonna do a little adjustment here. This bit gonna be the underside of the bottom part of the hat. Why I don't use a pattern here, that is just to show people that don't be scared to try. It's just adjust after things till it fits. And now I got the glue things on this hat, so I have to take it off. Move that away so it's not in the way. So where did I put the other one? So here is the other one, and here is the new one at top. And as you can see, it's a little too big. So if I want to, I can cut it a tiny bit down, just a tiny bit, not much, or I glue it in place and cut it off. and then I can come with some suggestions after. But I think we do it the easy way first. We just gonna see here. I think I just glue it in place as it is right now. I'm gonna prep so I have a little more glue stick here, because as you can see, it eating glue. It was a little too much still. So I start with the gluing on this end, but don't do too much because it's gonna dry then. And here you don't have to stretch too much. We just want to cover enough, but see that it's go flat. And then you just do some bits at a time till you cover the most. And now you can see the glue start to go here. I need to hurry up here so this don't go cold too early, because that is annoying. And then try to flatten it a bit. And sorry for my nails. I have too much wounds on my fingers this time, so I didn't want to take off the old before I have healed too, and the work are a killer when it comes to nails. So I continue to glue everything in place and press carefully. Press, press, press. And continue till you have done everything here. And I do a little hard, fast thing here. And depending how we want to do the result after, so we have to still to wait. But if you look, it's a little bit too big on this side, and you see it's gonna be visible here. But if you carefully cut off the edges, if you have glue enough, so no one gonna see it. But I'm gonna show what you can do more if you want to do it. So I need to find the things first, and I'm coming back after. So what I meant you can use if you don't want to have like a raw edge like this, because sometimes it doesn't matter, because it can look good that way too. If you shouldn't like to have it this way, I'm still gonna trim some bits here. You can use a band, but look, that is stretchy, and that is so you can glue it easy and see. But the hard thing is to actually get it to look perfect round, but then you can at least get it out. This one is maybe a tiny bit too small if I want to use it, but I think I should go without. But I just wanted to add that you can use, I see that it is elastic and wide enough. This is not that wide, so I should probably want to have a little wider, but you never know before you have ordered something. And this is now when we don't have to use this glue gun anymore, so remember to put that off and take some type of transparent textile ones that is made for putting together. But I want to trim this one first so it looks much better. But don't cut too much, just go carefully over the edge when you see it's loose. And let's do it this way. It's just to see that we cover the bottom's part enough, but not so it's sticking out, because this is the underside we did now. So let's go over the bit that you think they're gonna be shown that goes outside. That is a little too much, but you still need to have cover on the back side, of course, because else it's gonna look a little strange. And this here on the hat too, you can decide which side you think it looks better when it comes to which side you want to have in the back, or which side you want to have in the front. And then you can go over and see if it looks okay, it's enough for you. So I'm gonna take away the garbage bits from here, because we don't want to have them inside our work. So like I said, just that try. And when you're finished, you should have a result that looks something similar like this. You have the thread inside, and this is the bottom. And if you have a side that maybe looks a little worse than the other, some of the maybe something, but you see it's not that much really that bothers. Here you got a little strange thing, but it's the thread itself that was not perfect. So it's gonna be something, but I think it's better to be a little, because at least that shows that you have done something on your own. And what you're gonna remember now is which side you want to have in the back, and that goes with this one. This is the back, and I think I take this a little more ugly side in the back, and then I'm gonna decide where do I want to place this thing. And this is where you have this glue now. So you glue on the end, on the bottom of the top hat bit itself. Take enough, you don't have to take too much, but take enough so you know that it's gonna be stuck to the bottom, because you need to have it enough round, but at the same time not that much so it's gonna bleed through. And remember to put on the screw whilst you're waiting for different moments, and then shake again so you have the right side. See that you place it where you want to feel to have it. And I'm gonna see, I think something like this, and press. And now we're gonna have to wait. Of course it's not gonna dry that fast. But as you see, it's gonna be something like this. And then we're gonna wait for a while, because if you watch this one, I have bent it a little tiny bit. You see, shaped it a little bit, and that's the fun thing when you do with wire. You can actually do a little more shape on it, but you need to dry first. But you can, whilst you're waiting, see the front, the back, and it's always the sides you want to bend. And then you can put it down carefully, and then press a little with your thumb and drag up the sides a bit. And you can turn it the other way around. Do the same on the other side. And just turn it a little bit. You don't have to do much. It's just a little shape to make it little. And then when you know that the top bit is a little better on, you can start to shape it a little more. And here you can also lift it up so you can accent the middle part, if you know what I mean. And yeah, then you got a little nice shape. And here I see I got a little more fabric I can cut off. So I'll cut that off before. But that is when you want to have like these edges too. And then you can see that it looks okay-ish. So you got the middle part is more on the downside, whilst the side walls goes a little up. And then you just have to adjust it till it feels okay-ish for you. And now the fun thing gonna start, but we're gonna remember that we're gonna need to do something like this too. And of course I'm gonna need to have something to put it together with too, and I'm gonna need to find those things. I'm gonna pause first. So I got two of those. We call it in Swedish krokodilklamma, a crocodile clip, or whatever it should be called. That works best for me. And check that you have a size that should fit for your hat too. And of course you need to remember where the front is, where the back is, and how you're gonna attach it with the hair. And I should suggest on the sides, of course. So that's when you're gonna do that type of way, because that's how you want to have it added. So you're gonna have to put two things there. And I might use two of those. You don't need that long really. Just enough to glue the ends. And you can use different type of fabrics as long as you can put them safely on. And of course they're gonna be something like this. And yeah, be careful, this is not dry yet 100%ish. So we're gonna use the same glue to add those in. And of course now you need to remember what is the sides. So put them out on the edges, not too far out but a bit out, and start to glue one part. So you can press down that end there. And remember this, depending on what you use for fabric, can decide if you're gonna go through completely. And see that it's safe for your fingers too. because you don't want to have glue on your fingers if it's wrong type of glue. But enough glue so you can actually get it to stay in place. So now this one needs to dry, and I'm gonna take off glue that I have on the run here because it's coming out all the time, so that's why you need to put on the screw in time too. But it should be something like this when you're ready, and you still need to be a bit careful here because you don't know how long time you're gonna need, because it don't go at once, it goes slowly. So what I was thinking that we could start with this one instead, because this one is already ready so far and I haven't decorated yet. And like you see, I have a backside here. And what should we do? I've found a pendant. I like to use different type of pendants. So it can be crosses, it can be anks, and it can be something like this. But I need to take off this up a bit. And here you need to be a little careful when you cut it off, so you don't cut too much. And if you got a little sharper edge, you can use like a nail file to take off the worst thing. So I'm gonna find a nail file too, because it's not here. So like you can see, it's a little edge on it, sorry. Sometimes when I work, I see what it is, but I forgot that the camera don't always follow me in the same way. So you just take down the sharp, you don't have to do too much, it's just take away the worst bits that you couldn't cut. Sometimes you can cut it really good, but it should be just enough. And I just realized I had forgot the glue I'm gonna use for this one, so wait a minute. So I'm back. For the pendants and that type of things, I'm gonna use B7000. And now you have to decide if you're gonna have some other type of decorations too. It can be that you put in this type of ribbons around it. So then you can go and see how much you're gonna need. For an example, if you want to have this one, you can have a little more shiny one. Maybe that looks better. It's up to you. Or you don't have to have that much ribbons either. It's up to you. But I thought I should do something else because I have something here that I want to play around with. And see if I can get it out. I don't know how big those are, so we have to play by ear. You're gonna need some glue for it too. And this was interesting because they're coming in different bits. You're not gonna have to use the whole. Those roses are not that big, so that means that I'm gonna have to use more. You can have bigger roses too, but I also find those feathers that I thought could be a little cool decoration too. So I'm gonna see if I have someone that is not too tall, long or big compared. See which one is the smallest, because I don't know if they are exactly the same size. So I don't want to have them too big either. You see they come in little different sizes too, so you can go and check how much. You might have to shorten them a little bit maybe. This one might be too big. Oh, we got a little tinier here. Let's see if I find something that is more tinier. I think that was the most tiny of them. And I think this length is maximum. I think I'm still gonna cut them off a little bit, so they go a little shorter. You see it's a lot of end there, so I'm gonna try to cut them off a little bit so they're not as long. You see, I'm just killing it. And then we need to see where's the back. That's the back. So I want to decide which side I want to put this decoration on, and that you need to do maybe before something else, because that's gonna be visible as the edge. And then you have to decide how you want this to look like. And of course I want the feathers to be more visible. See the that is back, and if you do the right side, we can do something like this. So now we can use glue again. I think this time you can still use this type of glue too. But as I said, remember where the back is, because you don't want to have the feathers going in the wrong direction. So I put some glue here where I think those gonna be stick. You don't need to have too much, just enough, because you're gonna add something else too. And yeah, see, there is that, and we take one feather at a time, try to add it that way, and then you put the right angle for next one, and then you try to see in which angle you want to have them. So it's something like this. You have different type of feathers, so you don't have to really go with exactly the same type. See if I can press this one a little more in. And sometimes it can be good to have actually something around here to secure it too, but we're gonna have roses too on the outside, so I think that's gonna work too. Maybe I should use the glue gun for it. I forgot about that. I could use the glue gun for that one instead. Okay, we let it dry, and I put on the heat again here. Because I think it went a bit cool again. So I need to put those away. But we can prep some of the roses because it's gonna go a lot of roses. They look like this. Those are tiny ones, but I just want to have the roses itself. I don't need the thread, if you know what I mean. So I'm not gonna take my scissors, so I destroy it. I put that away so it can dry. I just cut off a lot of roses now, because we're gonna use them like a band around the whole hat, so and glue them in place. So we're gonna need plenty. This is exciting. Have you done a miniature hat before? Or have you done something similar? I know when I was younger, around 2000 and just some years after, Gothyoutuber was very popular, and they have their kind of miniature hats too. So I guess it goes a little hand by hand how to make them, just which type of style you do them in. So they're gonna decide how it's gonna be. We can start with this because it's plenty much anyway. We just hope that this gonna start work much faster than last time, because it takes some time before the glue gun is warm enough. So just waiting for that one so we can chat a little bit. So what have you done for World Goth Day then? I thought it was really nice to be on Starhaven's Victorian Goth thing. And meet all my friends there and see all the people in the chat, and even the day after for me, but still World Goth Day for the Americans, I was to Black and Bones, Bones in Black, a live stream too for World Goth Day, and that was really nice with all the dancing, and it was actually a double play set list this time, so that was nice too. See if it's gonna be a little faster. I can prep so I have some ready here, because as I said, it's gonna go more than you think. And what you're doing is trying. You're gonna see that I remember. Yeah, it's on. Now it starts to come. So you can start to add. So put very close to the brim or whatever you call it, and then you just press roses in place. And those is not gonna be that visible. The green part. Oh, there it went off. Press. I guess gonna be, this thing is always in the way, and sorry for you not seeing now. I should probably have the camera the other way around, but I just add some glue and press the roses in place. And you can probably angle them too if you want to have a little more that effect, but I prefer to have them in a certain way, and I think it's a little harder sometimes with the brim too, depending on how it's shaped, to put them. But don't put more glue than you need. You just need enough so you can actually attach these roses in place. And be careful when it comes to the feather part too, so you don't want to squeeze them away suddenly. Then you've done that work without having it. And now it's gonna be a little to get everything sorted. Maybe it didn't go that many that I was thinking it should. It's gonna look cool. And here it's gonna be like a marriage with the feathers. You just press, and that's gonna help to keep the feathers in place too. So far it's gone. And like I said, those threads from the glue, don't worry, because you can easily take it off when it's time for cooling down enough. It's just that you put enough glue to put the roses in place, and that you do it fast enough. And that can also help. You might get one more rose in. A little rose here. I almost used everyone, it's just one left. So, you can see, we got roses all around it. And now we're just gonna wait for it to be dry. So, like I said, those threads is nothing to bother. Just take them off when it's cooled down. You're always gonna get those when you create something with a glue gun. You can't really get away from it. Maybe I should take some of the glue gun here and use it for the feather too. Just put it that and press it in place to secure the feather a little closer to the hat. And I got a little glue on the feather where I didn't want to have it. And you can do the similar with the second one too, I guess. And press that a little more in place. It follows the hat a little better. And I press it a little to help the glue actually to be stuck there. And I got glue on my nails too. I glue everything. But it's funny. And there's a little glue from the feather. So see if there are any more threads you're gonna take off. You don't have to be picky in that type of way. So what should we do now? I think now I don't need the glue gun anymore. So now we can turn it off, because we don't want to have an accidental fire or something if we forgot something on. And of course, you remember what the back side was? Now it's a little hard to tell, because I probably have pressed the feather. And that's good too, because then at least, you know, but you know the back side is when the feather is going that direction, so that's the back side. So this is the front, because now you need to know, and because I bended the hat, so I know that the pendant's gonna be somewhere here. And for this I'm gonna use something else. This is what I'm gonna use my B7000, and this is perfect for this type of use too. And if you use it on metal and that, it's gonna take a long time before it's okay-ish. But I put a lot on the back side. It's probably not gonna cover all, but put it glue on the middle part at least. And here you don't have to be worried that it's gonna dry, because it takes some hours before it goes. And that's what, if you do jewelry for an example, it's perfect. My glue started to be a little old, so it started to turn a little yellow, but you can't really see it. And of course, if you have a pendant, that it depends on which way you're gonna hold it, so you need to be sure that you put it in the right. And then decide where you want to have it and try to get it as good as possible. And then you might have to try press it a little bit. And as you saw, I didn't put glue all the way out to the edges, so because it don't follow. The hat is not big enough to have area to be covered all the way with that thing. It's just to keep it on. So this is this hat, and I think it's ready now. I might send this actually like a gift to someone when everything is settled and I know that nothing's gonna go loose. But you see how easy you can make it, and of course those one is not sticking out. They're gonna be, but that is because you adjust them when you put them in the hair. But this is the result, and I will be back soon. So see you soon, darklings. So I'm back, and here we got the final result. The little miniature hat. You can see the roses, I guess. And how you're gonna attach it with your hair. So you're just gonna put it there and put the clips on. And it's gonna look something like this. See if I can put it just carefully. I'm not gonna... But you see, it's not perfect done now with my hair, so sorry, but just to show how it looks like so you know. And I think I'm gonna send this for some friend who you have to see. And yeah, it looks amazing. I'm gonna take some pictures on it, and yeah, what do you think? You didn't need any pattern, you just need all the type of fabrics you want to use. And use what you have. You can decorate it however you want. Use whatever pendants, and I thought this pendant is very cute too. And yeah, the feathers does it a bit spooky, and the black roses, you can have bigger ones too, so it looks even better. And yeah, then you got your miniature top hat. What do you like? I'm gonna use another model for this one and put it on the shorts too, so people can see it. And I'm gonna take it down in the future and send it to a friend. And I might do the other hat too, because I already have some. I don't need that money really, but I think when I learned after a way to do it and not do it that complicated, because I started with a very complicated pattern that I saw on YouTube, and I was thinking, you must make it easy. You can't always do it so perfectly and with all that very hard pattern to put together, because how should people dare to do it something themselves? And you see, I didn't use pattern, I just used what I needed, and I did it in a simple way, and hope I could explain how I made it. So just look at this. And when you see, I didn't even have to do some trimming on it, but you can still put something on top. You can use other things to decorate. It's up to you what you use. And you can use like this lacing too. So if I remember, I can put a video also from the World Goth Day on Star Raven's live stream, when I had the other top hat with the lacing, but you're not gonna see the lacing itself because I attached it in another type of way. But at least you can see how one of the top hats looks like when I had them on my head. And else, if you like my type of content, I do a lot of different things. I'm a goth, not just in one box. So please consider to subscribe, press the notification bell at the same time. And for all darklings that are turners, love you all. Thank you for your support. You're the best. And stay weird, stay nice, and you know, be safe. Everything like that. And comment. I love to read comment, and now I've switched everything in a different order because I usually say some of the bits last. Yeah, I think that was all. Hope you enjoyed my do-it-yourself and that you dare try. And if you do one, please tag me so I can see what you did, or post on my community tab, because you can do that too. Else, bye. Thanks for watching. Love you all. You're the best.